This story about the secret tunnels under New York City continues to get worse. It just continues to get worse. Now, I wasn't going to make a video on this because I already made a community post on this, how they are now bringing out fact checkers out of the sewers, out of the toilet, to now tell us what we thought we saw, what we know we saw, we actually did not see. Now, this fact checker, Hannah Hudnall, she made an article on USA Today where the topic was viral post errs on nature, contents of tunnel in synagogue. Fact check. The claim, old mattresses and booster seats were found in tunnels beneath New York City synagogue. So as I read this article, I'm thinking to myself, no, they are not about to do what I think they're about to do. Well, here's what the article on USA Today states. A January 10th Instagram post shows a screenshot of a post on X, formerly Twitter, by the same user about a tunnel discovered in New York. A synagogue in New York City was discovered to have underground tunnels beneath it, reads part of the X post. There were old stained mattresses inside along with booster chairs for young kids. That is 110% correct. We all saw the mattresses. We all saw one mattress with a stain on it. And not only that, we all saw the booster seats for children. So what exactly needs to be fact-checked, Miss Hannah Hudnall of USA Today? Well, apparently everything we saw, because their rating on USA Today is false. The description in this post paints a false picture of the tunnel discovery, which was reported to the police by synagogue officials. No, it was not. It was reported originally by neighbors in this area who heard people underground. But anyway, city officials said there was one tunnel. No, there was not. We saw on video another tunnel, but the video stops right there before the discovery of the second tunnel. But anyway, let's move on. She says not a series of tunnels. It was adjacent to the synagogue, not under it. Mattresses shown in the viral video came from behind the wood paneling inside the synagogue, not from the tunnel. Well, I want to know who exactly USA Today is fact-checking, because the people involved with these tunnels already told us that these mattresses, these booster seats, these high chairs, were already located inside the tunnels. We know that because they told us they hired migrant workers from Mexico to come dig their tunnels for them, to come build these tunnels, and that they were living and sleeping inside these tunnels. And I am only assuming the booster seats were there because they brought their families along as well, or so we think. But in any case, the people involved with these tunnels told us these items were located there and the reason why they were located there. So who again are they fact checking? Now, Ryan Deegan, a spokesperson for the New York City Department of Buildings, said the tunnel was next to the synagogue, but the tunnel was not connected to that building. Deegan said investigators found the tunnel's excavation site to be empty except for dirt, debris from the workers, and hand tools like shovels. Deegan reiterated there are no mattresses that were found at the scene when investigators from his department arrived. There were no credible news reports of mattresses or booster seats being discovered inside the tunnel. Of course, there were no mattresses at the scene because they were already taking them out. They were taking them out of the tunnel into the synagogue. We see that on video. Now, like I said before, this story has more holes than New York City itself. This story has so much conflicting information that this does appear that something sinister was going on due to how much conflicting information is going on to cover up this story. They cannot get their story right. They cannot create one legit story to send to the media. Now, the media states, and this tunnel inspector, I don't know who he is, Ryan Deegan, this lord of the buildings, had said that this tunnel does not connect to the synagogue. But the original story that came out, they stated they built this tunnel, they created this tunnel because they wanted to go to the synagogue during the C-19 lockdown. That was the original first story that came out. And that was the story that was given by the rabbi of the synagogue. Then they said, this connects a ritual bathhouse to the synagogue. there's a building that connects to the synagogue thanks to these tunnels. Then they said it was a group of radicals that are not connected to this group inside the synagogue. They were only there for a educational visa, and they went rogue and they started building tunnels underground so they can go ahead and spread their holy message. They can go ahead and spread their religious movement. Now, here's the problem, and here's why they're lying. And I don't know if it's the people that are involved that are lying, if it's the media that's lying, or if it's both. On camera, we see these young men that are connected to these tunnels stand in front of the tunnels inside the synagogue, so the city, the construction workers who arrived, did not pour cement down these tunnels to block these tunnels off. They were fighting, they were resisting. This is all going down inside the synagogue because, again, the tunnel connects to the synagogue. And because they would not move for the construction crew to block off these tunnels, to fill up these tunnels inside the synagogue, they had to call the police. The police had to arrive and remove these men that are connected to these tunnels. Now they are saying this never happened, this never occurred. Don't listen to our original report. Just forget what you saw on camera because your own eyes are lying to you. We are now telling you the truth. We are now telling you what actually went down. Now, like I said, I was going to ignore this story because I already made a community post on this article. I didn't feel the need to follow up on this post. But this fact checking is actually spreading like wildfire. It is going to multiple media sources. So from USA Today, it's going to Yahoo, it's going to MSN, it's now going to factcheck.org. So it's not just one wackadoo that is trying to convince us that our own eyes are lying to us, that this story has more holes than Swiss cheese. The whole fact-checking organization is coming out full force to make us believe their narrative. Had they not tried to double down on their lying, had they not tried to double down on being slick about this story and try to change up this story once again, this story would have easily just passed away. It would have just easily gone off in the wind, just like Maui, just like the list, just like everything else that was shocking. It would have just easily faded away had they stopped talking about it. Even the Miami Mall story, even if people want to believe nothing strange happened at the Miami Mall, it was just a bunch of rowdy teenagers, yet there is still no camera footage that has come out, no security camera footage, no CCTV camera footage, no body cam footage of what actually took place. That story as well has just eventually faded off into the wind. So I am very convinced that this story would have done the exact same thing. There would have been maybe some smaller group of YouTubers talking about it, like with Maui, but overall, this story would have just gone poof. But they had to double down and play Mandela effect. And because they doubled down, and because now I strongly believe something sinister, something nefarious was going down in these tunnels, I am actually going to create a video once a week on this story to keep it circulating, just like I do with the airplane stories, just to troll them, because they want to go ahead, like I said, and be slick about this story, like they have been. Call me Minutes of Tunnels, because this story is now my new Tiffany G, because they had the audacity to make us out to believe that we're stupid, and they took that stupidity factor up a notch. Now, I do remember when the story of Maui broke out, people were saying that, well, the police are blocking us from leaving. We actually had to defy police orders, leave our cars, and go around the police. Well, fact checkers were stating that was false, that never happened, because the Maui police chief came out and stated that never happened. Police never blocked anybody from leaving. Well, only a week later, people started showing video footage that, well, they were blocking us from leaving. We had to get out of our cars. We had to defy the police. They stopped us from leaving these wildfires and going to safety. So they are lying here just like they lied about Maui. The only difference is, with here, the camera footage came out first. And now they're telling us what we saw on camera never happened. Look, I know some people are saying they built these tunnels to escape prosecution in New York City. They are fleeing from everything that's going on in today's world, that they are hiding underground ever since the events that took place on October 7th. And maybe some people would have even brought that story. But now that there's so much lying, now that there's so much back and forth, so much confliction, now we even have fact checkers who are lying and trying to cover up this story. It now makes it seem something nefarious was actually occurring under these tunnels, and they are just trying to cover it up the best they can. So yeah, we are definitely going to be staying on top of the story now. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.